G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie StarCraft, where we are excited to be bringing you some games from the Acer Team Story Cup. This time we'll be casting from the series TeamLiquid versus YFWHas. So, the top left hand corner, as our red Terran, you know him pretty well, it is LiquidTaeja. The top right hand corner of merry-go-round, as our blue Protoss player, it's going to be HOTS. Now HOTS, probably not as well known as Taeja in the scene, and for very good reason. He's relatively new to the professional scene, and we've been hearing a little bit about him from late last year through to early 2014. Probably best known actually for his beating of J-Dong in WCS America Season 1. He used a very sneaky wall off on Polar Knight and managed to get the upper hand. And so we know from experience that HOTS has some very devious tricks up his sleeve. We'll see if he tries something similar against Taeja, or whether he breaks out a different build entirely. Of course, this is the new Season 1 map pool, so merry-go-round, very interesting map. It's actually a 3-player map, which is interesting in the 1v1 scene because it allows both players the option of expanding either towards their opponent or away from as they move down towards this untaken third base. Seldom do we ever see that untaken third actually see use, except occasionally as a ninja expansion, but quite often we see an interesting dynamic where players fight over the middle expansions. They try to expand very aggressively towards their opponent's third base. So we'll see just what these two have in store for us. Looks like Taeja has his barracks going down now. Hasn't actually built a refinery. Here it goes now. So I imagine we will see a Reaper, but not as quick as we're perhaps used to. 2 assimilators already going down for HOTS. So there's quite quick gas out of HOTS. I'm curious to see if we'll be seeing some sort of Stargate build, or whether we may even see some quick Templar, or lots of options for HOTS, particularly taking these bases quickly. Actually have a sneaky pylon going down here for HOTS. That's a little bit of an interesting choice. You can see Taeja's actually walled this probe in here, so probe going to be stuck there on the high ground, or a marine going to be out quite soon. This pylon actually could find itself under threat very quickly, particularly if Taeja actually spots. If we look at Taeja's vision, and we can see actually a pylon just out of range, so a little bit surprising that Taeja can't see it. Potential to scout that quite quickly. Actually have a proxy Stargate going down in Taeja's potential third base, so if this isn't bold, I don't know what is. So HOTS, always a man with the Protoss shenanigans. We'll see just how this goes for Taeja. Taeja has got 2 Marines out thus far, and actually rallying those all to the front door, expecting some sort of quicker aggression, I think. So Taeja actually going to be scouting out with his SCV now, but we see HOTS' Stalker moving down to low ground, so potential for this SCV to actually get caught before it can scout. Now, what Taeja needs, he needs to know how much gas has been mined. If he sees these geysers, he will be very aware of the fact that this Stargate, or that a tech structure, has gone down somewhere. And we actually have an empty Stargate being chrono boost there for a few seconds, so HOTS getting just a little bit excited, but Oracle now being chrono boost about 20 seconds away from the mineral line. Don't think there's much Taeja can do about this at this point. Factory is still on the way, so a Widow Mine not going to be a viable option just yet. We have 2 more Marines being rallied down to the front. Now, I think this first Oracle is going to net itself quite a few worker kills. We have an SCV trying to make its way in. It's going to see that gas is indeed being mined, and we'll see if Taeja reacts in time. We see HOTS just a little bit worried about Widow Mines there, perhaps missing out on a potential opening as he gets just a little bit too excited, and does manage to actually take out all 6 Marines, albeit barely. Is Oracle surviving on 4 health there, but not doing a whole lot of damage to the SCV line, which I think is really what he would be looking for. A Widow Mine is going to be buried here, probably tucked in behind one of these buildings where it can't be spotted, so it's going to protect most of the mineral line. Though HOTS still has the potential to be able to harass this second base. We actually have a Void Ray coming out. This is a bit of an obscene follow-up, something we don't see very often. SCV going to try and repair that, but this Void Ray is going to be able to go to work on these Marines. Oracle swinging back in, almost taken out there, but yet again managing to hold on until those final 2 Marines do snow. Widow Mine being moved into position to defend this, and this is quite a cheeky follow-up from Huss. These quick Void Rays followed by a few Stalkers. We have 2 more Gateways coming down, but it looks like we're going to have a 3-gate Stargate push, and these Void Rays will provide a lot of the punch necessary to try and work through this bunker. So I think we'll see TvP actually pull a few SCVs to try and repair it. The Void Rays may be able to go to town this reactor, and dropping that reactor will mean TvP is down to only 1 production building. Barracks, well, 3 if you count the starport, but it has very little in the way of units. It's going to be quite difficult for him to actually bring anything else to bear on these Void Rays. A few Widow Mines here, hoping that the Void Rays will stumble across those. They will do massive damage to the Void Rays, though it appears that Huss is very aware of these, are actually going to reveal those, and the first Widow Mine behind the barracks will be taken out. The potential for TvP to actually lose this barracks right here, right now. So things are looking just a bit uncomfortable for Huss. Viking going to be working down those Void Rays. Unfortunately, there are going to be Stalkers here to make life just a bit more difficult. That supply depot almost going down as well. So still on 1 base for Huss. We'll notice that he hasn't expanded yet. Does favour these very aggressive sort of push. And we have a lot of Zealots and Stalkers just barreling their way up the ramp. Widow Mine going to do a bit of damage to kill these Zealots off. But unfortunately, there's just not a lot of units left to fire. These Stalkers going to do a lot of damage. Almost able to snipe that Viking, which would have been a big pickup. 2 more barracks being produced behind the safety of these bunkers. So that's going to allow TvP the opportunity to continue building. However, TvP continuing to produce SCVs is a massive economic advantage for TvP. Something he's very aware of as this SCV just continues to scout. So Huss is really going to have to make a play here, otherwise he will just find himself economically light years behind TvP in this matchup. That Widow Mine there being repaired by the SCV, so his SCV is not currently mining, but managing to hold this front door by repairing the bunker and the Widow Mines. Stalkers continuing to warp here. We are starting to get a very substantial amount of Stalkers. Pick off that Widow Mine quite quickly. Second one may well go down here. Going to pull that back behind the safety of the bunker. As Oracle, the second Oracle that was produced, just doing a whole lot of work for us. Going to focus down that bunker very quickly. Widow Mine going to take out a Stalker, and that is a money shot. It's going to really chew into the amount of units Huss has here, but the Stalkers just continuing to work down these SCVs. SCVs pulled off the line. We have these Marines continuing to try and provide some DPS, but Marines versus Stalker is never a favourable engagement for the Terran player. A few Vikings actually almost going to pick off that Oracle, but pulled back behind the safety of the Void Rays, and Huss just is slowly but surely working his way up the ramp. Got to be very careful. 3 Widow Mines now. Substantial amount of DPS, particularly if Huss charges up this ramp without being aware. All of these Zealots can die very quickly, indeed they do. The Widow Mine's now getting cleaned up. 2 focus down, almost yet manages to pick off the 3rd, but TvP now with the medevac out, going to stutter step his way straight into those Stalkers. We actually have a bunker in the expansion of Huss, so Huss not actually able to take his own natural expansion. This could get a little bit grim for Huss if he isn't able to bring some more units to bear. There's now some serious production for TvP, another 2 barracks going down, and unfortunately what started as a great push for Huss doesn't seem to be getting the traction that he'd really like, and he needs to either break this here and now or grab his natural expansion. It could be argued his natural expansion is well and truly too late at this point. His harvest account being doubled by our Terran player TvP, and it just looks like Huss is really struggling to make this push work. It was a great push. We saw it come very close to breaking TvP. TvP was as close to being taken out as I think humanly possible here in this map. We have Huss could really use Blink on these Stalkers to make a bit of a play into the main base. However, been unable to spare the gas at this point. Looks like TvP is actually going to pull his SCVs and just go for it here. I think that's a pretty good choice for TvP. You know, he can move out quite comfortably. There's a significant economic lead on Huss, and Huss unfortunately just continuing to try and make things work with these Stalkers, but there's just not enough in the way of Protoss units. These Widow Mines going to continue to force Huss back, and Huss needs to decide what has he got to try and give him the edge back in this game. Managing to keep his Stargate in play here. Unfortunately though, the Marauders are now on the field. Stimpack not quite finished, but is more than halfway, and when that stimpack does conclude, I think we are going to see the hammer fall on HOTS. So if he's going to make something happen, it has to be here and now. Very cheeky opening from HOTS, but really not seeing him able to capitalize. We have TvP saying, "Get out of my third base. I have my CC here and ready to land these." Void Rays trying to clean up as many of the Vikings as possible. There's just too much by here. Marines and Marauders just hacking their way through these Stalkers. The command center decides, okay, maybe not. I'm going to fly out to my third, but Hustle tap out there with the GG, and TvP takes the game. So a little bit of a cheeky opening there. I wouldn't have expected HOTS to drop the Stargate in that location. Perhaps somewhere nice and safe like up here, but that was exceptionally cheeky. Allowed things like his follow-up Void Rays to be brought to bear very quickly, and a nice push overall from HOTS. But TvP showing us what he's made of. He is the man with a plan and managed to hold that very well. So great game from TvP. And TeamLiquid taking the game in this series. So there'll be plenty more Acer Team Story Cup coming up after this. So we look forward to seeing you in those games. Thanks guys, take care.